Okay, welcome back to the channel everybody. Got a three-way driver comparison with the big boys today, and we've got the Callaway Rogue ST Matte up against the Cobra LTDx and then throwing it in the TaylorMade Stealth as well. So three big drivers for 2022, pitching them up against each other. And we're going to look at four categories here. We're going to look at looks, which is preference, sound and feel, and then accuracy and distance. So four categories I'm going to personally mark them on. Obviously these are my personal feedback of these drivers and see which one is going to take pole position. Okay, so as I say, three big hitters for 2022. I've got them all set up pretty much the same in terms of the loft, so 9° in each of these heads, and I've got them all in a shaft that's in that low spin category, around that 65 gram area, all in X flexes. So I'm going to kick things off with the Cobra LTDx. I'm going to hit maybe batches of three, keep switching them over so I don't get in a rhythm with each particular driver. I'm not going to show you all of them on screen, but we'll show you a bit of each one and then we'll obviously flip to the results. Ooh, that's an absolute belter to start off with a Cobra. Very nice straight shot to start things off. So a little bit different look for the Cobra, you know, with that sort of matte black, a little bit busy, a couple of little sort of side stripping of paintwork there, a couple of little raised go faster stripes in a way, and of course then you've got that little black section at the front, the face, that looks like it sort of overlaps a little bit of that edging at the front. Oh, it's a little bit of a pulley one. Okay, so three decent hits there. Maybe the second one not quite as good as the first and the last one there, but let's move over into the Callaway, the Rogue ST Max. So a little bit of a larger footprint with the Callaway in the Max, so a little bit more out in the back end of this golf club. Really nice look though, to be honest. You know, it's that matte black, a little bit of that carbon just showing through, but for me sits really, really nice. We've got that gold sort of lip sticking around the back. Touch low in the club face, but that is going to be fine in the fairway. And what I really liked with the Callaway is the sound of it and the feel of it. It did sound very, very sort of solid. So nice opening shot there, that one getting out to 310. That was good. Oh, pulled that one, struck that really well as well. Pulled that one up the left. That's going to be missing the fairway, I would say. And obviously some different models to choose from here, aren't we? So I've got these three that are relatively providing as much sort of forgiveness as they can in their range. So basically they've all got this weight in that back section here, trying to help a bit of forgiveness as well as keeping some ball speed there. That's a nice one, just to finish that first batch of three with the Rogue ST Max. Okay, so let's move on to the Stealth. Okay, so the very much talked about Stealth driver from TaylorMade with this distinctive red face. So looks on this now is not as big a footprint as we see in the Rogue Max, and maybe a touch, looks to be a little bit less than possibly what we see in the Cobra. Slightly different sort of shape, very similar to that sort of Sim 2 shape, I would always say. Now a little bit more blacked out. Obviously we've got the glossy bit around the front and just the edges, and then the matte sort of black on the top. I quite like the look of this. It does look very stealth-like, as the name suggests, obviously that red face. Okay, that's a little bit off the bottom of the club, just moving a tiny bit on the right side, but a very distinctive sort of sound. Well, it's not a distinctive sound, it's a sound you'd expect to be different with a carbon face, but it does still sort of sound very much like a sort of titanium driver. It's a strange one, it's a sound that I wasn't expecting to hear, but it's a good sound. It's a good solid strike, just a bit up the left-hand side. Powerful flight though, came out a little bit lower with it being a little bit closing the face a tiny bit. That does feel pretty solid. Okay, so there's a batch on the first three shots with the Stealth. We're going to carry on rotating these around. I'm going to hit multiple batches of three shots, keep rotating the drivers around. I'm not going to show you every single swing, but do stay tuned because we're going to look deep into the numbers and maybe get me to categorise and give me an overall winner out of those four categories. Okay, and there's a final one with the Stealth. So we've hit multiple shots with each. You can probably hear it's actually started tonking it down, which is why the camera's now just moved inside. It's actually hailstoning. Middle of April, it's actually hailstoning in the UK, absolute nightmare. But so let's talk about those categories. So first one is going to be the looks. Which one do I prefer the look of? And I appreciate looks is obviously a very personal thing, but I get the three drivers down into this sort of playing position, and I think, you know, obviously the matte with the Callaway, it's quite a big footprint. That probably doesn't suit my eye personally, but I do like the shape of the head. The Cobra doesn't blow me away. Do you know what? I'm going to go a little bit with the Stealth in terms of looks, but it's a close one probably between the Stealth and the Rogue for me. We take a look at the feel of the golf club, and we associate the feel a lot with sound, don't we? I think the Cobra, I said this in my review video, the Cobra to me just feels a little bit harder off the club face. Not a great fan of that. I do like the feel and the sound of the Stealth, even though it's not what I expect it to be with that carbon face, but it is still a good sound. But I think for me, just the sound and the feel and that sort of very solid feel, the Callaway has got to be a winner. And that's probably one of the reasons why I put the Max LS in my bag, because of that sound and the feel off the club face is one of the reasons it's gone in my bag. Let's take a look at some numbers and have a look at maybe the actual distance winner out of those three drivers, and also accuracy, which is obviously another main aspect we need to look at with driver. Okay, so let's have a look at accuracy to start things off, and maybe we can see there a bit of a clear winner is the white circle, which is actually the Cobra LTDx Driver. As I say, I've hit 9 shots with each of those driver in blocks of 3, so I didn't get into a routine with one, switched them in and around, and we can see maybe the Cobra, and to be fair, it did on the flight of it, it did look to be a little bit more consistent in terms of the sort of direct misses. You can see the left miss very, very minimal there, a little bit of a right one there, but again, it's only about 15 to maybe 20 yards to the right there, which I don't sort of mind too much, and you can see a little bit tighter than some of the bigger left and right misses that I had with the other drivers. The blue being the Stealth and the gold being the Callaway there. So the Stealth, probably that one off the right did let me down, has increased that dispersion a little bit bigger there, but for me the Cobra just winning the dispersion side of things. Okay, and then when we look at the numbers, so these are all the averages of the three batches, the three drivers that were hit. So you can see club head speed 113, just short of 113 with the Rogue, and a little bit quicker with the Stealth, and I have seen that with many other videos. I just didn't seem to get a little bit more club head speed with the Stealth against other products, so touching just sort of short of 115 as an average. Ball speed wise, 163.8, 164.4, 165.5. So if we look on the far end in terms of the smash and efficiency, I'm getting a little bit more out of it in terms of what I put into it, and the return I'm getting out on that ball speed is with edging it with a little bit with the Rogue there. So for me, that's a little bit better on that ball speed in return from the club head speed. We can sort of see then the distance. So we'll talk about carry first through the aces. 271 with the Cobra, 278, 274. So again, the Rogue just starting to get that little bit more carry distance, and also then that is translated into a little bit more of total distance as well. So good sort of launch and spin characteristics there. You can see we're more, to be fair, are pretty good. Maybe the Stealth just coming out a little bit lower on certain hits, maybe sort of slight low hits, maybe it's just pulled that down a little bit. But really distance is going to be taken with the Rogue on that front. Okay, so final verdict there. Which one out of those three would tip it for me in terms of the best out of all those sort of categories? And I think really, you know, the Rogue has definitely won it there with that ball speed, you know, that smash being a little bit more efficient of club head into than that ball speed. And then I think the sound and the feel winning it as well, and the accuracy was pretty good as also, wasn't it? So it's just sort of edged it, but literally is edging. I think all these three drivers are really good. Obviously, you've got to get them dialed in for yourself, haven't you? And that's the important thing, you know, go and get fit, get the sort of head and the loft and the shaft all sort of dialed in to suit you and your delivery and your typical miss that you might see out on that golf course, or even if that's a slight miss strike, you can sort of work into maybe a bit of shaft length there. Sometimes even the weight of shaft can really influence that that sort of strike pattern on the club face, and then potentially you can get a little bit more ball speed out of it from that front. But interesting test. Callaway Rogue just tipping it for me on that particular one. Love to hear your thoughts as always, so do comment down below, and hopefully I'll catch up with you all very soon.